Yep.
Question. Your comment and your photo from the weekend has been described as irresponsible. Attempted humour. What's your response, and will you be apologising?
Well, look, I'm not going to be moralised at by these extreme greens, for a joke that I put up on social media when these people, these extreme greens, are engaging in illegal activism on mine sites, putting not only themselves at risk, putting the safety, well-beings and lives of workers at risk at places like Abbott Point, and they've actually put people's livelihoods at risk as well. I mean, the town of Bowen has been absolutely under siege economically for years now because of the lawfare and activism that these extreme Greens are undertaking. So much so that I've even had reports of suicides up there. They are the ones actually putting real lives at risk, not only of their own protesters who go about things illegally, but also for the workers who are up there whose safety is in danger. And it just needs to stop. Well, again, I'm not going to be moralised to by these extreme Greens who put the livelihood, safety and lives of other people at risk. They're the ones doing real harm. That's not a joke with the Greens. It's real. They're out there doing criminal actions. And I just note that the flippant comment I made online was a quote from Dirty Harry, who was a police officer speaking to people who are conducting illegal activity such as the Greens are.
Do you think it's perhaps the timing, George, that's the issue, given the recent shooting in the US? Do you think that's where the sensitivity lies?
Well, I don't know what that has to do with the situation here or in Australia.
Do you think you did anything wrong?
No. Putting a joke up on social media, if that's doing something wrong, then there's a lot of people that are going to be in trouble because it happens every day, every hour in this country.
Your sister, Michelle Landry's come out and criticised the caption. What do you have to say to her?
I don't know about that, but what I know about is the people who are talking about referring it to the police who've just simply batted it away and said there's nothing to see, that I'm not going to be moralised by them. I mean, they're the ones committing illegal activities up there. They're the ones putting lives at risk. They're the ones doing something wrong that actually is endangering lives.
If you don't think that there was anything wrong with the post, George, why was it taken down?
Well, again, I'm not going to be moralised to people about putting a joke up on social media. Nigel Scullion, it's out there publicly, asked me to take it down. I took it down because Nigel asked. But again, I'm not going to be moralised by people that are actually putting lives at risk and actually, putting people's safety, workers' safety at risk. These are real actions. These aren't jokes that the Greens are doing.
But it's not just the Greens who've taken offence to what you've said and don't see it as a joke. Do you accept there is some responsibility that you had caused upset, particularly with the school shooting in the US just days earlier?
Well, I'm just going to repeat what I've said and said again, and I'm going to keep on saying the same thing. I'm not going to be moralised at by the Greens about putting a joke on Facebook when they are up there putting lives in danger by their illegal activities. There's a very big difference between these two things, and yet these people are out there saying, wringing their hands and crying over a joke on Facebook and referring it to police. They're the ones committing illegal activities. They're the ones putting people's lives in danger. So that's the last question I'll have on that. Is there another question on the ring road or any other issue?
News poll shows 2/3 of people think Barnaby should go. What's the electorate telling you here in Macquarie?
Well, since I actually got back to my electorate on Friday, I've had a lot of people that have raised that issue about the Barnaby Joyce and the ongoing media storm around his personal situation, and by and large the response has been that he's done nothing wrong. It's a personal issue, and people should just get off his back.
Does he have the party room support to hang on?
He's got my support, and I believe he has the party room support.
What do you think of Turnbull's new laws with the cabinet not for members of the government not being able to have any relationships with their staff?
Look, I think it's certainly an interesting time when we're regulating interpersonal relationships between grown adults. But anyway, that's what the Prime Minister decided, and that's what we'll have to abide by. I certainly don't engage in any of those relationships with my staff members, and they're probably very glad for it.
The government slipped behind in the polls. How much do you think of that is due to Barnaby?
The government's been behind in the polls for a long time, and as we always say, the only poll that really matters is the one on election day, and there's a long time between now and election day. It's not due until next year.
Do you still support Mr Joyce?
Oh, absolutely, 100% I support Barnaby Joyce.
Do you accept the timing, though, of your post, which was pretty insensitive given the shooting in the US?
Well, I'm just going to say I'm not going to be moralised by people.
Moralised issue, isn't it? A bit insensitive.
Well, that's your opinion, but my answer to the question is I'm not going to be moralised by extreme Greens who actually put people's lives at risk by their illegal activities up there in Bowen. My constituents whose lives are at risk by their actions. It is wrong what they're doing. It is not a joke. And for them to try and, blow something up over a joke on Facebook, well, there's going to be a lot of Australians in trouble if we start policing people about jokes on Facebook. The real problem is the illegal activities that the Greens undertake up there at Abbott Point and around Bowen.
The AFP said they're considering whether to investigate the matter. Do you believe there is a case to answer?
Well, I don't have that information. I have the ABC say so that happened, but what I can say is that the Queensland Police have looked at it, laughed at it, and basically dismissed it. And it is something that should be laughed at because we shouldn't be moralised at by extreme Greens that put people's lives in danger on work sites up at Abbott Point around the Bowen region. They put people's livelihoods at risk, they put their safety at risk. And these are the same people wringing their hands over a joke on social media. It's crazy. So that's it, I think.
Tough time for the National Party right now with Barnaby and this thing that just happened on the weekend. There's a lot of talk about split between the LNP and friction between the two parties in the coalition. What do you say to that?
No, look, I think that time heals all wounds, I guess, and a week's a long time in politics, so it'll be interesting next week whether we'll be into another news cycle. I mean, today it's about a joke on social media. I mean, what's it going to be tomorrow? The press gallery, I guess, will determine what the issue of the day is tomorrow and next week, and we'll be into another story then.
George, do you think it's appropriate to use memes to respond to comments on social media as a federal member?
People use memes on social media every day, I guess, so people use memes on social media every day, so I don't know what the problem is. Certainly I'm not the first and I won't be the last Member of Parliament to do it, and I certainly won't be the last Aussie to do it. It's becoming a common thing. Thanks very much.
Turnbull saying very inappropriate.
What was?
Your post.
Oh, it's his opinion. Thank you.
Okay, so that was live from Mackay in North Queensland. Nationals MP George Christensen holding a media conference there at Roadworks for the Mackay Ring Road, but he was also asked questions about that photo and comments that he posted on social media. So this is the one where he's holding a gun, and the comment he wrote was, "You got to ask yourself, do you feel lucky Greenie punks?" The Greens have said it was highly inappropriate. George Christensen says he's not going to apologise for it. He did take it down, but he's not going to apologise for it. And he says he's not going to be moralised at by extreme Greens about what he calls a joke that he put up on social media. He maintains the Greens are the ones putting real lives at risk in his electorate. He says it was just a flippant comment quoting Dirty Harry. And on the Barnaby Joyce issue and the controversy around Barnaby Joyce's affair with his staff, Mr Christensen says people in his electorate there, he's been up there now for a couple of days, the constituents are saying that Barnaby Joyce has done nothing wrong and people should get off Barnaby Joyce's back. So that media conference there from George Christensen up in Queensland. Rachel Papazzoni joins us now with business news.